Soros calls on EU to regulate social media and to fight populism. I wonder why. Maybe because he's getting his ass handed to him by it. But hey, let's see. Billionaire open borders activist George Soros has demanded the European Union, EU, regulate social media because voters' minds are being controlled and manipulated. What? Huh? No, okay, we need to change this. It should be billionaires, open borders and possible war criminal George Soros has demanded European Union regulate social media because voters do not believe mainstream media manipulation and control. That's a little bit more long-winded, but a lot more accurate, isn't it? Well, that's what I suspect anyway. He claimed the size of social media firms made them a public menace and argued they had led people to vote against globalist causes, including elect President Donald J. Trump, in an article for The Guardian published on Thursday. Maybe people are getting both sides of the argument. They're seeing some of the violence and crimes that are being committed because of open borders and rejecting your globalist agenda because it sucks. I don't know. That would be my theory anyway. The speculator, who runs one of the largest campaigning groups in the world and is noted for his interference in foreign politics and elections, said ultimately unregulated social media threatened democracy and the integrity of elections. These people really need to learn what the word democracy means. It doesn't mean that you get to fill people up with propaganda and then they go and vote for you. But these people just seem like they're bitter because they're losing elections. It seems like they're just annoyed because Trump won the election, Brexit won, the France Le Pen almost won the election, Germany the AfD's winning votes. Like, it just seems like they're just upset that they're not getting their way. It's like a 6-year-old smashing a toy because he can't win. You know, just saying here. But let's keep going. I'm finding this article quite funny, actually. New media websites and populist groups have been prophetic on social media, using platforms to circulate mainstream media and promote causes Mr. Soros and his allies oppose. Yeah, because we don't want your agenda. Like, the balls on this guy is insane. Like, he can literally sit there and make a case to the UN saying, I'm losing my ground when it comes to the elections because people are being informed and don't want to vote for me anymore. We have to do something about it. Like, wow. Like, I would have loved to have been in this room when he's saying all this and just laughing my ass off. But let's keep going. Mr. Soros has a cozy relationship with the EU's unelected leaders. Of course he does. Meetings with them 11 times since the Brexit vote. Prime Minister Theresa May, in contrast, has had just 3 meetings in that period. Ever get the feeling, Theresa May, that you're not quite as important as someone else is? Just saying. Just over a week ago, it was revealed Mr. Soros had quietly pumped £500,000 into a group trying to block Brexit and overthrow the Tory government. I did actually see that article, guys. I just didn't get a chance to write on it. I might do a Sunday episode where I go through some of the other things I missed, because there was a couple of things I missed during the week. In the Guardian article, he wrote that social media can influence how people think and behave without even being aware of it. I doubt that. I think it's more the fact that people are getting both sides of the arguments now. They're seeing the damage that open borders is causing, and they don't want a piece of it. Like when you get 48% of women in Sweden afraid to leave their home after 6 o'clock at night because they're worried that they might get culturally enriched. then at the end of the day, yeah, you sort of got to sit there and say, well, maybe this isn't a good thing. I don't know. Just my theory. Let me know in the comments. And this interference with the functioning of the democracy and integrity of elections. You really need to look up the word democracy there, buddy. We're not living in a dictatorship where George Soros tells everybody what to think. Due to social media uses, he claims people are losing freedom of mind. Funny, I thought it was the opposite. And adding, this danger does not loom only in the future. It played an important role in the 2016 US presidential election. If anybody had any doubt about Hillary Clinton being for large corporations and globalism or multi-million-dollar corporations or like rich bankers or anything along that lines, this should prove it to you. When George Soros is salty because the 2016 election was won by Donald Trump and not Hillary Clinton, that should tell you how much of a bullet you dodged. He is a globalist, he is an elitist, and he only looks after himself. So he obviously has an invested interest in her winning. That should be alarm bells for you. President Donald Trump would like to establish his own media-style state. Really? Because I was thinking it was the same about you, buddy. You know what they say about people that proclaim things about their enemies? He said, claiming the president was part of the same problem as North Korea dictator Kim Jong-un. Sure, right, yes, because America at the moment is run by a dictator. It's ironic because all these people that go on about how Trump is evil, he's a fascist, you can still, funny enough, protest him without being wound up in a transportation camp. Just saying, you know, not really much of a fascist there, is he? But anyway, let's keep going. In the US, regulators are not strong enough to stand up to the monopolies, political influences. The EU is a better positioned because it doesn't have any platform giants of its own, he continued. Yeah, sure. Can we just get rid of the EU now? Just like, can't it just crash and fall and burn? The EU Commissioner for Competition, Margaret Vestager, is the champion of the European approach, he added, praising the bureaucrat who recently visited communist Cuba without condemning human rights abuses in the nation. Yeah, sort of missed a bit of a picture when you went to Cuba, didn't you? Mr. Soros has been convicted of insider trading and also suspected of attempting to interfere with the US elections. Oh, can we have a probe into that, Mr. Robert Mueller, please? His name came up around 60 times in emails released by WikiLeaks relating to recent presidential race. So guys, what's my view on all this? Okay, so to be honest, I think Soros is just salty that Hillary Clinton didn't win the US presidential race. He was putting his checks in place and he had plans. Trump come along, won the election, stole it from Hillary, quote stole, and he's got no power over Trump, so he can't enforce any of his policies. If Hillary Clinton or Hillary had won the actual election, chances are the US at the moment would be much like Sweden. Mass migration, huge problems with violence, gangs, and, quote, cultural enrichment. And at the end of the day, yeah, you really did dodge a bullet. Guys, at the end of the day, I actually like this article. I find this article pleasing to read. I'll put a link to it in the description below. If you ever have a bad day, please feel free to read this. I'm sure it will perk you right up. But guys, yeah, at the end of the day, can't we just let the EU dismantle and fall now? Can't we get rid of it? Like, who really wants open borders? Who really wants mass migration? If you do, I'll go to Sweden, stay a week in a no-go zone, and then tell me you want it. Because I imagine you'll change your mind. But guys, I don't know. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. Are you upset that George Soros is upset, or does it bring you a small amount of glee? It brought me happiness. It warmed the coldest of my heart. But guys, let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. If this video has been helpful, please smack a like. If you're new, channel welcome and subscribe. And George Soros, you can suck my nut. Have a great day and enjoy.